having Michael Strahan, this up-and-coming right defensive end, OC. I hated both of those guys because they were really good and I couldn't play in front of them at the time. I'm Justin Tuck. I played 11 years and won 2 championships playing defensive end in New York. This is Calling Audible, presented by Audible. Please check out my buddy Michael's podcast, American Football, over on Audible's YouTube. It's time to take you behind the scenes of the 2008 football season. Honestly, the biggest audible for us was us looking at each other and really challenging each other to do better. We had this thing where it was like, you're old, we're gonna kick you out of the league. And basically, it goes back to the audible of like, Michael's over there and he's messing up the start of my NFL career because he won't just go away. So we started doing things in practice that we just felt like would break Michael down. When the offense would be out in practice and the starting defense would be waiting our turn to go practice, me and Osi would be doing conditioning drills on the sideline, just trying to basically show Michael up. And then the guy starts doing all this stuff with us and like starts pushing us. We looked at him like he's 50 years old and he's running sprints with us, he's lifting weights with us, he's sacking quarterbacks with us, he's still doing everything he's done his entire career, and we're like the younger, or trying to be the younger version of him, and he's still like, yeah, eventually I'm gonna leave this league, but I'm gonna leave it on my own terms. It's not gonna be because you two gents kick me out of the league. Going into these playoffs, we felt very confident with where we were. We go to Green Bay and everyone talks about playing in cold, but I don't know if anybody's ever played in a game where it's so cold that your body is hot. That was Green Bay, negative 26 degrees. I felt like I had a fever because my body was in overdrive, was just trying to heat me back up. I had teammates who had icicles in the back of their helmet because the sweat was drying before it even got off of their hair. That's how cold it was. Luckily for us, man, we went in there and made the plays to win it and sends us to the granddaddy of them all. If you remember it, New England was going for undefeated season. The week leading up to the championships, TVs are all around us showing us all the sports broadcasts. They pan to an interview of our teammate. They asked him the question, what do you predict the score is gonna be? 21-17. Then they pan to arguably the greatest quarterback. Back then he was arguably the greatest quarterback. I don't think it's an argument now. He laughs, and it's like, it didn't sit well with us. Me, Michael, our starting middle linebacker, our starting weak side linebacker, 3 of our starting corners, we're all sitting at this table and we kind of looked at each other when we saw that clip. All of our eyes just almost like turned red. It was just a moment where we felt disrespected, like we were here to be a part of their story. After that, man, I feel like we had some of the best practices that I'd ever been a part of. Our mindset heading into this game was to do so much more than just make him uncomfortable. We had to make Tom regret even walking on that football field. The best way to kill a snake is to cut the head off of that snake. And to us, Tom was the head of everything that New England was gonna do to us. So a lot of the things that we were gonna show him was things that we had already shown previously in our season and have wrinkles off of it. So a lot of the audibles within that defense was predicated on situations that he had seen from us, and maybe on the first time we show it, be exactly what he saw previously on film, so he gets comfortable in that look. And then the next time we show it again in exactly the same way and bring something that he'd never seen before. And at that point, we got him because we didn't feel like anybody could block our 4-man rush. Now Tom is just that half a second slower in his read. He's second guessing his quickness to release the ball. And that allowed us to make a lot of plays with our D-line and let our 4-man rush eat. I don't know if you guys really understand my stat line in that game. Unfortunately for me, this is probably the best audible that was ever pulled against me. In the first half of that game, I had 6 tackles, 2 sacks, and a caused fumble. I ended the game with 6 tackles, 2 sacks, and a caused fumble. So basically, I did nothing in the second half. Going into halftime, New England basically said, how do we stop Justin Tuck from killing us? And they pulled it off. When I think about my career, I think about, obviously mentorship and leadership around me. And Michael was definitely numero uno when it comes to like helping me, especially the transition from college to the pros. We've told him since, but during the year, we made it a point not to tell him how impactful he was on our careers. That's the best thing that could happen to me, getting the opportunity to come to New York, work with Michael and watch how he developed himself into, obviously, the bona fide Hall of Famer that he is. Listen to American Football, How the Gridiron Was Forged. Presented by Michael Strahan, only from Audible.